Half a day, buenas dan saludo para todo si mani kung binigi programan Marianas Agupa ang sábado talos Stefanidos ginini oran alas 9 gegan este oran alas 11 undang kululu na kulu para todo samzo na mani kung binigi 100.3 FAMA ritutun boys ni Apanilos gi onsen nit na kapasidad elektrisidad gairi Magic 100.3 FM, dan lokoy ritutong boys tigi tune-in radio worldwide, dan para todos ato siya maniga gi YouTube si Zeus Masi, dan i Facebook si Zeus Masi lokoy para todos samzo. Mga man malefa gi YouTube natin subscribe para ato siya na programa i-entry simona. Okay? Pues si Zeus Masi talo pago na dia panelos matsu dia 26 2022 después de mapanyagon Jesu Cristo. La mga man malefa na fino idifuntus mong sinner Pali Antonelli na gining guija jang gija nige zatanata zahululu isayna para ilina lata na ginin ino sempre na para tasoda ifuturo para turudusit dan para adyo siya lokoy iman mamamayla siya na henerasyon. Jesus Masi, bonito na hani, sabiya talang nos i-klema, mamayla pinini na zata sustenit gitrong kun pupulun aniti, mga man malefan no? Talo matsu dia 26, 2022, para todos adyo siya maniikungop, talo, Giza tinian duta di isla ng Guam dan interior mundo, Estados Unidos. Half a day talo para todo do samzo. Mala zatanaw yung dong kululu na agradecimiento isigenti siya na kumakatsui programata humuhugoy pa ako na semana. Gini tutun niya estilo ko anonymous donors si Zeus Masi putudo ya judo. Winigi programan Marianas Agupa, dan lokoy Diabetes Prevention Foundation, si Zeus Masi, Taber Foundation, dylantaber.com, with isang tatin programata, dylantaber.com, si Zeus Masi. Dan lokoy, siya man malefait na izota time check, ginin Bravo Pharmacy and Wellness Center, mga man malefa. Time check at 9 o'clock pago na ogan Sabado.
Ogan 233 Amot 233-2668. Email is over prescription bravomeds@gmail.com. Mababagin in Lunis Estabentis. Ginini oran alas 9 gegan, estay oran alas 6 ipupoy Sabado. Ginini oran alas 9 gegan, estay oran alauna kaluani talo. Ogan 233 Amo 233-2668.
Alright, mga man malefa na Bravo Pharmacy and Wellness Center, gagigarapan, Kakman, and Lukoy Nuevo na Ramas, Giza Dandan, mga man malefa no? Bravo Pharmacy and Wellness Center. Alright, para Lukoy sigenti siya na kumakatsui programata ti siya man malefait na i-garapan Public Farmers Market. Manggagigwi siya iman fresco na kiniset sa nilanso, naman malefa. Gulay siya, diferentes klase. Wa siya postre ng pinamamis, teka si Paula, sino si Leroy. Tuwa ng Sabalo, no flea market giyong banda. Laging parang part, ikaritan mizo por favor, part, dyan fanhalum na, dyan fanmamang garapan Public Farmers Market. Malazata, zuday lang siruta, ginin siya mas muna fanyutsuhid, uno na mas unraw na tsutsu, para un lansero, o sino para un pescador. Mga man malefanenaw na siya, ilan lansero mo na fanyutsuhid, gi masya mao no interit mundo, Zani Pescador, siya mo na fan bobo kahit kuyan. Pues daong kululero na unro para esti na tsotsu para un lancero o sino para un pescador. Alright, pues siya man malefed lokwi na Ace Air Conditioning. Siya lokwi muna siya ay autoridad para esti siya man aligran air conditioning ikaritong mo kay gi tatini tarusu no garapan sexy aini Ace Air Conditioning. Zagin bumi ay ho papa luta mga malefan at saga gi Coral Garden Rota Hotel sa Sikindo o sinong sirit gay giha gi Canton Tasi dangin malinoy Tasi zone ilaw un ilaw watu gi Isla Guaham un lilia sempre Idonggat Anderson Air Force Base. Alright mga man malefan din no pago zangin gua interes mo mamahan lo kalang bizazi spandalus na kalang check si Mike Naputi gi Instagram o sino i-Facebook mga malefan. Alright, o sa mala zatafan sige mo nagbini i-klema mapatumogeno ginin as Joten Markets and Department Stores Shop Local Shop Joten.
Today's weather is brought to you by Joten Markets and Department Stores Shop Local Shop Joten. I-klema pa na ani nina patutuzi hamzu gini i-Medcount Joten zan i-Departamento Tendasihan. Shop Local, Shop Joten.
Alright, mga man malefan now i-Shop Local, Shop Joten. I-klema mala datalang no sisti sa Gualukwi winino asuntun i-klema isya man malefan nisti. Pago na dia 81 degrees Fahrenheit gi Paluani este lo ginin ogan apadelos sataan lo bula utsan gegan imanglo ginin kakatan lutsan at 25 to 30 miles per hour. Humidity at 77%. Talo precipitation para taluani maski 60%. Sinigi i-asunto para i-klema no satan sa pitalo gitaluani 25% i-manglo ginin katan lutsan. Alright, talo mapatumaw ginin as Joten Markets and Department Stores Shop Joten Shop Local Shop Joten. Okay, pues mala datapan sige mo nagwinit sumukan i-programata no i-informasyon talo gini ni opisina ni at kadi guna papa tinian talang no sa estilo kwi na pago na haani no kinakat sa estilo kwi siya na informasyon gini ni opisina na kadi guna papa tinian sabalo selebrasyon para selebrasyon pamalawan sa Guasya Papanmarikutisa, was ceremonias, Lamu Neste, gi oran alas 5, este oran alas 9, Lamu Neste, watu di Antonio M. Borja Amphitheater, dan lokwe Guasya Huigun Mamenta, talo ginini oran alas 5, este oran alas 9, Lamu na, Women's Recognition Ceremony, alright? Di Medkulis na hani Matsudia 30, 2022, walokwi no para gutus ifinio, ribbon cutting, Doc Kano, watu di DLNR compound, giza tinian este, di oran alas 10 gegan. Di business, para guaha special este na junta, juntan veterano, watu gi town hall meeting este ginini oran alas 6 este oran alas 8 ipopoy ni Tinian Public Library. Alright, nanggaza tatsagi pan man hano papa luta za tatsuli loki informasyon ginin as Aubrey susteniam zubini gi programan Marianas Agupa 100.3 FM susteniam za tatsuli loki anunsyo ginin luta. Okay, Aubrey, stand by. Okay, mala data na holum si Aubrey. Aubrey, kayo ganaw?
Yes.
Alright, mala data panalo papaluta data tsuli loki siya anunsyo. Tuwa na gawin para fan malang mo suzong no paano na si Mona Aubrey. Kung sige mo na.
Yes, thank you for this opportunity to share what we have is, on our agenda to celebrate our women here in Rhoda, and we of course invite anyone present to join us on Island. Yesterday we launched with our proclamation signing.
Okay.
Held at our office. Of course, focusing and recognizing our women who have volunteered their time and service to our community. And then today we kicked off with a walk for women at our Taquindo baseball field this morning at 6 a.m. And then we have plans tomorrow, for everyone here to join us, celebrate Mass at the Simon Savior Church at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. And then we do have a few things later this week. On Monday, March 28th, we invite everyone, male and female, to wear pink or purple in honor of our women.
All right.
On Tuesday, we are going to have a makeover day. This is a collaborative effort with our AmeriCorps group here in Rhoda, along with some of the senior class of 2022. They're going to be volunteering their time to help our women, focus on their self-care.
Okay.
They'll be providing manicures, hairdos, makeup, and some massage services for our signers or any of our beautiful ladies who'd like to come and enjoy some time for themselves that day. And then on March 30th, we will be gathering at the Guapa Pavilion at 3:30 p.m. to do our hand waving, again to show support for our women. And finally, we will culminate our women's program with our recognition ceremony. There was a time frame that I believe with the First Lady Diane Torres Foundation, along with the CNMI Women's Affairs Office and the CNMI Women's Association, they welcomed any nominations and nominees to honor and recognize women in Rhoda who have volunteered against their time. And so we will be doing a recognition ceremony on the 31st, again at Guapa Pavilion at 4 p.m. So we're just going to highlight and culminate our festivities for our Women's Month.
All right.
That evening.
Celebration of the women. All right.
Exactly.
All right.
Thank you.
And thank you, Aubrey, for that. And get ready for the next show next Saturday, and we can make some announcement again.
Thank you so much.
All right. Talo si Aubrey. Hokuk Benopapa gi opisina ni at Kadi. I-anunsyo lopi na mapatumage. Tara, tapan sige mo na ginigit po kumata. Okay, pues gua siya kulo para tanapan hujong para ajo siya sumili loki ihanin mapanigonia gwini na si Mona. Pinini na mela tatanay kulo para si Robert Suzuki, special na birthday kulo para hago Bob. Alright, kumarin Zina Manglonia paguliliste. Alright, Zina Manglonia bueno papa Luta, happy birthday kulo. Bueno papa tinian Henry San Nicolas, happy birthday kulo para hago Henry. Para si Nico, alright, Nico Pinaventi, happy birthday kulo Nico. Naginome ko ka. Para hago lo ko Lisa Atalik, happy birthday kulo. Balloon kulo. All right, Balloon Kulo esti para si LJ Sablan. LJ Sablan, Balloon Kulo. Happy birthday, Kulo boy. All right. Para si Bernie Sablan Lopez. Special na birthday, Kulo Bernie. Naginumay ko ka. Georgette Manglonia, gi Isla ng Guam. Special na Kulo Georgette. Naginumay ko ka. Para si Myra Hokuk, bueno, papa. Francis Ann Torres. Special na kulo parago. Jody Abraham Loque. Special na birthday kulo. Dan para todos ato siya timan mapasalista no dangin guaha bueno siya unalong ginigi programata. Okay, buenas. All right, brother Obi kababauta, buenas parago. Corina Magofnia, buenas. Good morning Loque parago. Representative Corina Magofnia. All right. Okay, zangin gua kulo mga man malefa na sinyata na halong gini. Na, natafan sige mo na bini sumukan iprogramata gwa siya asunto para tanafan hujong. Winigi programan Marianas Agupa dan Monasan Estate tafan no ekakat watu gi islan guaham dengan ready si Peter sa tawagan. Us papa tinian dan si Senator Singh Monasan si Sidoro. Después gi oras alas 10 lo para tafan adingan dididi dan izota Democratic Party nominee for governor si Representative Tina Sablan pwede kaya trabia in transit lo siya umolong gi izota program is the tanay na link. Alright, dan manazan no malum lo ko siyempre si Ambrose gi oran alas 10:20 pago pwede yung section na a little bit English version no ginigi programata. Bala, kanini na sa tatutuhon este, no hunggan gwa siya ginawzaw trabia si siga ginawzaw gikwit pun i legislatura pud asunton i impeachment inigi sa hululu binigi programata no esta madisban esta mana para i impeachment committee no mujung si President Jude Hapsinayer de Leña por todos adusia y man masusedi y guaha siya ex parte communication no mana za mana para basta ju i gumiluluy ezo na komite za para basta da guiza mismo para o hearing officer president of the Senate no bula siya inatungtong gisang hilo na guma wa siya no dinimanda gini ni publiko na debi siya ufan ma unra adu siya loki i rekomendasyon ni tauto ufan fan holom lo ti mana fan holom para ugwano ufang ugwaha siya inakomprendi gisang papa na guma hati para mapunta para este siya i para prosecutor para presenta i impeachment siya gini gisang papa na guma lo humuzong na tawza ino siya kampo gisigun ginin i rules i allegramento na mana editsu kasi nigi no zahululo wini na si mana na asunto wa siya question ko edo siya i rules ko tibali po ako na mana pare komite para ma-adopta nuevo talo na rules o sino ko para makonsige na rules inigi siya zinawzaw sa siya man atungtong i mo representahit isang hilo na guma lo guahalokwe asunton i retirao hasta pago gini ni December timan mananay siya na izo niya bonus no por rason siya nagagaya zon na palabra i para o manay autoridad niya governor 100% reprogramming na esta munazan ma-impeach buskan na makat siguro isang papa na kuma siguro gini rason siya na manhuzong na debut mana suwe now i 100% reprogramming sa istamonazan mana atsibaw i gobyerno za kulan umfafaisin para uhoflat tati tela niya ito siya i manggaygi sa papa na guma sali siya na natungtung na panelos manggaygi ni pison inadingan za takumprendiya na ti man aafak sa siya i mo representate parewa isang papa dan isang hilo na guma za bulas siya no palabra siya manhuhuzong wa siya finaisin gini ni publiko manahalong gini programan Marianas Agupa office siya kumikiling niya siya na palabra za hapan na man sa scientist uswag gini no mala talang no sila udong ka umahuka ni tauto office i palabra ni malaglusuzong gini. Buenas talo para todos samdo na mani kung gini ki programan Marianas Agupa gwa humolong gini talo question hafa este mama scientist pues sigun ginin i rinastian ni programan Marianas Agupa este mama scientist no hafa atutungo itiatungo malate baba ini gino pues ano pago mas ginigi tempon politika especialmente pago ginigi durante kumbalatsin i impeachment i dota governor Rafael Torres Diyan kumbalat sinisti para panmanoy bonus ilitiraw. No aanog masistig isan hilo na guma na matutungo iti matungo. Pues man maisa scientist. Zagigwa man ma-elect esta todo do matungo. Samo sa nga niya fa. Todo do esta matungo. No munga siya na para ufan konferensya, para ufan guay na comprende. Sapa siya man dilansi. Matutungo iti matungo man mamaisa scientist. Kasi ni no na hemplo za para todos ado siya man interesado ma-comprende how festi na palabra daging humudso. How festi mamaisa scientist. Bidesti matutungo iti matungo. Malate baba. Kasi nigi na leksyon para pago sa Zeus Masi talo po di attention nito gani. Okay, kasi sige na question itatsagi gidi na palabra mo explica hafen no. Pues mala data pan sige mo na gwalo kri pwede asunto lokre no maapunta si Representative Vice Speaker ataw paragwiza law humujong loki na ti kumungfod ni za humujong palabra loki za informasyon gini ni President President Hop Schneider na liling niya paragwiza po tutunes ta biza para kinimdukta kumung hearing officer humujong si Representative ataw na liling niya tisinya loki na po taigwinisi na paragwiza sagwa siya timan afaksa siya ti siya na paro matatago no ginin sanhilo na guma sa ti maagas niya si senador siya kasi nikino siya na kumbalat si ban masusesidia panilos sa unggan ni kwanto sa tasangaw ni ti siya ti ufan eko sa no man mamaisa scientist kasi nikis ti siya no na palabra ni mapapaisin mo gihapen no kumikilit na palabra. Okay, zao na tan huzong esti sa gwahan gwinin no chechinglong sta pago. Tutungo ko in haso di mapus siya na legislatura law gwa lahi mapasa. Zao na ta reminder manggaygi gipresenti pago no maatan panisti. Gwa Public Law 15-47. Budas tinalaya panilos para maunra si former Governor Lorenzo I. De Leon Guerrero. Public Law 15-47 za para matulay ka building, retirement fund building za para no Governor Lorenzo I. De Leon Guerrero retirement fund building. O sino pa na matulay ka sa settlement, debiya o kinakarry zo settlement fund building, debi guahan niya si Governor Lorenzo I. De Leon Guerrero settlement fund building. Kasi nagi esta pa bueno desde 200 safety na sakan mapasa no o sino mamalaya at mapasa law lumay este no Public Law 15-47 law ti maonra ihagas gubit nota aso no basta pa la napanasuzo panilos na lokwi no mampusisti no ana fan manininti tauto nisti izota first governor Dr. Carlos Camacho nasta pago tawza onronya izota first governor Dr. Carlos Camacho nasta pago no ifinini na no izota governor no tawza niya fa ma-senyala lugar o ma-adapta lugar para umaunla si former Governor Jastapogo Lalala, si former Governor Carlos Camacho. Pwede ufan man haso esti do man suwa si siya politika do manoy na unro niya ito no izota first governor aso no Jastapogo niya fa tawza kung nga izaw na agon reminder siya iman gaygi ko ng hulo na scientist daw maatan isti no malifan ko sinya makatinosis ti itasasangan ti public law 15-47 no marestreya no. So maatan ho na chiching lunga sa pawot niya fa no sign niya si former Governor Larry Lorenzo I. De Leon Guerrero i retirement fund building. Diyan itasasangan si the first governor niya fa muna di siya pumalo manmanoi siya no recognition politiko niya. So ni kaya panilos no titungo ko okay no kumikilig niya lo wini na si mana importante na talang no siya no sa ta-celebra gini gihalat sa i-covenant day za no inigi inaw tuton niya anay man matatongihit manhita zan gobernamenton Amerikano gi politika man familia hit za dongkulo na responsibilidad iparatakad gayno za paratahat sa banderan Amerikano za tamensyon na binigi programata na importante no siya na asunto bula siya si bisyo man mafatumagi za anak pan mafatoy na loki ginin ipinatek niya si delegate Kilili. Pues bueno responsibilidad niya za tanoy loki saludo para todos ato siya manadzuzudag wini para mas bidgut ti perfect esti na relationship esti na relasyon i covenant no ti perfect sa tawza perfect law za gingawa siya no temano diskuti si former Justice Jose de la Cruz na wa siya kampo na siya muna manhuntahit na paratana mas dinansi izang gintima na afaksa ogo na tempo hafa finaposta ma firma na tratus zangin pago na tempo ti maafaksa kus sinya ha eno wa sasalam niya na po mana adansi mana atut si un punta este otro punta usini geno gayeno gi tratus da sinya eno mas maulik muna no sinunod ko ni na celebration winigi halatsa sa tananay dongkulo na si Jesus Mao sa Italo gobernamento Amerikano po todo ato siya na adzudo desta pago at nasta pago siga mo na tagasta funds ARPA funds matsalala po nino gipresente pago wa siya uso ng gasto na questionable sa simple no wa no pulo sa otro na dieno na tadiskuti lo ino sinasalapi man mapatumagi para uadzuday solidanon esti na siya na isla itatan sangkatan na Islas Marianas. Otro wini zaw na talang nusuzong na pareho na elektrisidad ang kurente na manadinganit pud eno siya na gasto sino eno siya na fondo man mapatumagi bula siya man ang tawta man inadzuzuda tat kumusi siya asuntun pandemic unemployment assistance za uno esti na asunto pago na unggan pwede umaatan esti sa 2020 na sakan o sino 2021 na sakan no guaha deduction por lo menos 10,200 pesos zangin manoyo nene pandemic unemployment assistance sinyo un deduct gizo mo tax di 2021 lo pago na sakan 2022 taza trabia action is Kongreso Estados Unidos na para uma-exame no asuntun pandemic unemployment assistance como income tisnya no un reduce papa adjusted gizo mo income gipresente sa taza ginin taza trabia matsutsubi ginin Kongreso Estados Unidos para ma-exame no siya na income pos gipresente langin paron fayo izo mo tax sempe debia un naholume no managang watu gi revenue and tax sigun ginin informasyon na debia umana holume no sa trabiati ma-excesse no para deduction waha mapasa si Governor Torres introduce si no Representative Angel de Mapan maagan stimulus tax exempted zo pusti necessaryo zo na para na halong gi zo mo no income alright pus enigi eno gi loko okay pusti necessaryo no paguzi pua debia un report ino sigun ginin opisina revenue and tax, okay? So nige na asunto para pa ako na Sabado mala data sige mo nagwinigwa siya asunto no world news no pudi ora no mala natatanaw pan estano 30 minutos pasado las 9. Mala data take a break data tsagi mo nakialom si Peter ginislan guhan sustainam sa Fanelos 100.3 FM. Mga malefa natin subscribe i YouTube winigi programan Marianas Agupa Stadium zo. All right, malatanalom si Peter the Tatsuli Aloki Hapman Masusesidi Wenaugi Island Guaham. Buenas, Peter.
Buenas, señor. Dan para todo siya itatawagta ni mani kung masya manuman gaigem jo pwede dan olara man safu ham jo zaman maulik todo mo nagikreran ni jo. No estipago na ani Glen kalan kumike maulik apa tu no tanota gini sa ma-reduce papa na italog the classification gini ni CDC. Gini high hasta medium. Hasta no mana tutungam hasta no Taiwan, Korea, and Japan hasta na suwa con todo Philippines todo restrictions siya na para siya pues siya tres semana un mes mamaila no tali lamegay na tourist no manahana magi sempre sa matumagi sempre sa estagin in talili na no kasi 5 6 mid gimes man mafatu lo sempre ju kumaulo piot Glen sa esta hagas man malagoy tau man paseo lo disisinya na lo ya pues necesita estegi mensaje para tau kuam na necesita tada fanlistuit gini para ta-receive siya lo yocho na problema ginaw na todo supply ni nyating magi supply gini todo nengkano tani factors siya gini ni batko kalan adumidi dia no mafatu magi
Sta dispasyo magay dyan. Iniling mo iman mababa pa ako no matulay ka manatulog pa pa. Kumikiling yan na siya manhono ito para Philippines para matsek ispitat sa tawza no problema esta?
Yeah, esta no hadi siya man malago manano pure di siya ipo fanano para medico. Lo yeah, lo tao like Glen angin sinya angin gualugat may quintus puditi half a siya sa city puditi impeachment.
Okay, sure. We got a few minutes. Go ahead.
Uhasu nain todo judge ti man malago man sauna. Ja taja na covenant lignin niya na nisita judge po fanalum. Law pues pago dali na representative ti malago lokwi.
Gan ha.
Sa taigwi covenant, right?
Yes.
Law istige na no ipunto gini. Jangin mafatinas rules and regulation to the impeachment na ileg niya na diputsi judge but ileg niya na diputsi representative pues diputsi sa atin na di Amerika and si gubernamentum sina mai mano na modelo matuli apa na model na apa na paradigm matuli sistema gubernamentum in America no
Okay.
pues necesita matetiji lo kui precedents right history pues etsigi bidanin niya gwatu angin gwa po ma impeach sinya Chief Justice pero gehului kinalante ni impeachment da un representante ni House of Representatives o sino un bancada a prosecution team na pues ginin edso na fanan matuli model pues atena watu kita England UK masasangan na UK na government na constitutional government edso siya law pada dunia constitution pues hapa kumikilig niya en constitutional government dengin pada constitution kumikilig niya ha ito gwa differential niya ito constitutional then constitution base right constitutional government o kukadu kumikilig niya na matatititi hafa siya hagas ma society English precedents then hafa siya no na lai ni man matugi ni man mafatinas sa gimagay pada dunia constitution England United Kingdom tada sa ginin traditional na sa ginin guahan no or esta papago na gua monarchy lo makapun or maamut if it's any monarchy sa manay waktu di parliament right pues si monarchy gagaya lo hokukaji monarchy kala na figurehead so
Sti monarchy loke no Peter no sti monarchy kala no totalitarian no loke king na
Sanya stay monarchy.
Sa may watu i parliament kan mo.
Parliament. Okay. Parliament nagagito ri futsa.
Simbo ta
kala na advisor ha ito i monarch.
Pues ene liling mo nang roto no ene liling mo no kumo mana halong gi rules na para i Chief Justice of the Supreme Court o preside pues bali ano liling mo no.
Okay. Necessaryo na para gagi gihalom i covenant. Sa hapa gagi gihalom i covenant na i House of Representatives pero togwi impeachment na kumikilig na to kala na indictment. Mas i Senate na debi na pero matogwi i trial da po ma-convict at po ma-acquit. Law kinalamte ni trial di put si na House of Representative ni siya uminday na siya tumobi impeachment
alright pues
siya deputy o prosecute
alright pues molik bonito no na opinions pwede maatan no tuwa na bula siya different opinions na no at least unsangan no na sinya ha no gayfod san lagin matso wintag no. All right.
Yeah.
Ano para pago na sabalo?
Para pago sa tuma na tigis may na tempo.
All right. Esta si Jesus Mose.
Okay.
Sudah talo otro sabalo. Peter Santos talo ginini tano iman sa muro si Jesus Mose. Wala tatapad sige mo na panielos. Winigi programan Marianas Agupa. Pwede umikungup si President Hapsi Snyder nezo sa unos ti langnos si Peter como abogado loque ni sinya haatan uno na opiniones ti sa sangat na sinya bumali no dangin man ahawlan gi rules law no lami guys yan na kamzada man masusisidi isan hilo na guma. No, okay, pus malak datapan sige mo nagwini. Okay, tapanono pa fan tinian si Senator Singh susteniam sa talo. Alright, malak data na ano na papa gi Island tinian. Buenas, Senator Singh.
Buenas, pre.
Wala data no. Okay, po sige mo na.
Yun dia po.
Lingmo na kalan iklema gwenaw no sa taan papa.
Ay,
Basta mamalik.
to Broadwa.
Okay.
No, naman guys siya atau pautan. Tapi yung sa nagkata sa balong market.
Okay.
Yung nagkaw. Drive ini masuk kung kau no sampai lo Commonwealth na ino. Basta sisili.
Ito
Nag-lift up siya asuntong pandemic.
ganun ni ginaw uno law guamas no wow mensyonan no por este sanilo na guma no apas yun atan presente pa ako sta pa ako sitsing lunga retirement bonus and impeachment tunungo ka pa niya si Dr. no abogado si Peter ako magwazo nga no opinion lo ke
Ikan gua papesangan lo yung kada uno simple ini gay opinion na. Sawa na pe opinion consult authority gaya na pistri mama may singko. Debut na di wata ini na klase burukan. Isa manene ko ingan kondo video gua nih no pegang siya na klase burukan. Sa suka burukan. Dan ginto tunay lahat mamburukan. Sa tisina ho manbungok. Sa tuduga mamburukan. Pues bira na ito. No, sagwa man mapanawagit sa eskwela na we have 5 senses, no? Lisinya kakagong ilutan kung mag-iiligay na. Bira ito sa stay talangatan di sumitbik. Sana sitbik pa ako di finally talk to para mataw mo vision na. Sa ulii, i-diferensya siya. Masusedya ito di tipokulo, wow, ubira na yung malaw ko di kurot. Pues como Android circle na, nung pega kurot, sating mali diferensya.
Okay.
Beliau berdiri ko.
Okay.
Di Senator po. Ito na yung sa tangang di mapinasaban doon itimpo ko common disease and disease. Si Senator po akaloy di cease to exist.
Okay.
Ia suspecta si Senator po na manatay biyago Lo, ini na David yung establish rule as a minority leader. David yung gagawin function. Todo meeting Senate na parotso action. David yung gagawin minority leader kung may meeting lokwe.
Isinga na parang lang sa ujung tergugu. Na para hawa na maisa.
Gipresente pa og tawag sa minority no group gi sa nilo na kuma unatan.
Igan na siya ito po diniklare tres na.
Okay. Ibu mafud man no so mabota no haji minority leader no.
There you go.
Okay.
So ito nga pa na preciso no. Sa wintak to tergu. Sa gaifundo na yun minority leader. Gaifundo isang hilo parewa dan sampapa.
Okay.
Di sila na pang mag-zero out. Hindi. Bago, di sila man kiningi pa ikoti.
Pwede manitungog si Senator po, si Edith, Senator De Leon Guerrero.
Igwaha. Igwaha, niya funding. So, di na eh. So, majority control.
Ay lo gihalat sa nay no ano ti mahalom si Senator Edith nay. Si Senator Poa no biza solo nay pus no biza minority galon todo do nay.
Regardless, biza na leader para biza.
Sige siguro na pago na gumahan no gatsumnya nay tutungo ko no meeting idos nay sa akong food man na uno gidos o minority leader na.
Adan siya bago si Senator Paul ni Dian ay matangkogwe na yun udun ko mo senador. So mudun pa sumarong dan yung marong na eh. Ilig niya na kita pago para kwintos ay di ko mo senador na kumuisang-tang.
Pues sige siguro na kana ano gazera gi sa lumi chamber. Okay, pues alright. Pues polo basta sa tapan sige muna sa gua bisitata po ako. Sinya umalum si Dr. Representative Candidate for Governor. Si Tina Sablan. Apa zono sampai todo ta kumbida na magi.
Ay, hindi na.
Importante no na tanak panggay binigi programa ta.
Kita sasangan istimapos niya na sa Opalo.
Yeah. Pues okay, pues mala data pansige mo na. Gua gano para gua mas gano pun lang nos. Medyo na pa ano.
As a matter of fact, so small sister really looking at me kapag
Okay, alright, sa mo si.
Okay.
Senator Singh talaga na papa no tinian sa bonito lokwi zona opinion. Zawja speeder lo zawa lokistis Senator Singh na importante i minority magay no sa Estapao dos o sinos niya tresagagiga si Senator Santos ta sumuzong grupo pues sinya tres pago no naisinya matanso magay i minority group minority leader. No, interesting dia sana si Peter como abogado lo que na sinya como gumaigi rules no apa no ano na recommendation no temano para matsuli niya gi Supreme Court ti tatungo sa opinion na zumo kahit lo no bonito no siya na diretti mo ang ni programa Marianas Agupa malata check fani chiluta Isidoro Cabrera. Right? Pues ito nata nanggafan di o humalom kau sinya no umatik si alright sige chiluta si Isidoro Cabrera buenas para hagos and para todos sin familia bonito na haani pa ako.
Unggan Glenn no buenas tardes kulan istipaingin no usan na. Ang gegat no pag bababay matonay ato.
Gan.
Oh. No. Ya pa ko no tapang ito dito pandan no Kirin manusia mau ki tinanong na.
Okay.
Bulan gini no san mentisi cetta na ni manggaji pau ki lebatan no man mafananan na niya na kirin manu na tono na ini mohon.
Oh, okay. Oh, bonito no. Okay. Explica pa na mo guys.
Okay. Iban dan sultan na banana. No? Apa na kapananan no Fiji, Southern Fiji. Kirin manu mau kirin Fiji na. No. Tungutan alumnya ko masumo ko alum no alum girin ni gubernatorial sta mamtata pa ko na sa Fiji. Yung Manila. Tungan Manila no Philippines. Kung girin Manila mo gi cetta na ni sa pananan no Southern Manila. No. Macau. Depan Macau na girin no uno na island parang
in Hong Kong. Okay.
Rewas ni Taiwan, no? Taiwan girin no. Isi kan yung antes ni mapananan Formosa sa Taiwan. Anak mapananan no Southern Taiwan. Pagod din niya no sa Guam na. No anang giring Guam na mo sa Guam ti mo no lu at mo na mapanan sa Guam. Lo sultan wan mamnya utru na si sedang Guam no sedang Gloria. Ini no ada propio na si sedang Guam.
Sedang Gloria no?
Sedang Gloria.
Okay.
Utru sultan ay ketemu si William Hybrid na masuliran Taiwan lo sahnya zona rosa. William Hybrid.
Yeah.
Tanduki, no tunga Tanduki.
Gan.
Sedang long. No, setiap sisi nawa ini, idama, tapanan soba nih, sedang kata, sedang dama, baru kiri tapanan baru, bisa di dongkulus ini sultan, asli dan Taiwan lu baru nanya.
Jaffa zuna chulai magang iji mafa na bababoy.
Lamit. Na bababoy no na sultan.
Fazuna wazui lenya boleh no para na baboy. Kung bisa ji sedang dama ay no.
Sini bentik sa dongkulo na narsimuin.
Okay.
Jadi si sedang gofi na mafananan ni si sulidan Manila lo kulon no perpu no.
Okay.
Mulut san kulon na Marisa. Iban dan suni na itaro. Tanay dito kananan na suni na lulu no.
Ginin hana lulu no.
Girin na lulu mo giwin tisan na semisa na. Sudan na pon. No?
Gan.
Sudan na pon. Dan baru ki suni no.
Suni na pon na.
Suni na pon na ko. Bagi walu tar kini sina suni na di dongkulo na suni ko lang suni girin Fiji pan mo na
Ji man dongkulo na suni no lo.
Man dongkulo no. Ko girin tungga mo gitu pas semua na ini kita tunggu.
Niki na question zano be paisino no tungwa na gua no i gua lai na ini ji gale kultura na na isinya no prohibido pero na halum no sa igaga siya na. Apa naman halum no i Manila no Fiji hate mano naman mas moko ino halum natan.
Ano mo na client tayo no yung tisno itong tempo na limon siya pa tempo sa panis ni manolum na rasan
sultan. Antes di gua reglamento no. Mana
yung lagi no tinanong kita no teman mas momogo alum na mabuksa na simisa sa na no pues
siya na
no sa quarantine no umata na
siya. Ilaga fruit flies dan todo siya na sidnod na anak panahalo.
Kinin no ni smuggling naman ako na siya mambaban na soga at sidnod ni corona daw niyo itinanong siya hindi na. Tama na na rhinoceros beetle no ni Kumolong ang wamlo tit matong tema no yung pesina modong stay rhinoceros beetle. So yung tungulay no tema no actually ninyo alam din siya. Kung accident yan, pag naman mas mo. No? Tapos, imantan niya no, Glenn? Tres closing niya, no? Tapanan ng pinanaway, no? Baru pikirin Taiwan na pinya dan pinya na lima. Agas pinya gini na easy. Agas tawag pinya tan pinya na lima ni so. So kimandan no mangga kini. Ulan no stano kay manggan di manggan Hawaii ni makanan lo bila ni untuk no heden manggo ni. Jadi agas mangga saitan na si panilit na manggan natibo manggan samuro ni. Dingin mo takanat no giring Indian ba iti na mangga.
Wag ni malam gini ni Zotano former Commissioner Joseph Castro. No iti dan apaka.
Apaka na soda?
Apa no is the white long dan apaka bizene para baboy no mananay baboy.
Tungo mga apa no sa kay family zone na mapananan so tanok pa ka ni
white long okay right kuda nagata kay paisin pa nga di siluta
sa when lang ito ka no mas question no kana no pero pa no kan
okay pues alright si Jesus masi ta consigue otro semana di ito ta cultural no program si Jesus masi talo esta Jesus masi talo si Sir Seduro Cabrera kumuguita i kabesan i init no kulturan natibo ita i presidente tige siya na programa italalag nos magigi programa ni kultura da parte no siya inengkano sa tanak na siya halag nos talit siluta Malak na tapan sige mo na binigi programan Marianas Agupa zatana open stay sunido pues eso na tapan sige mo na binitalo sumukan programan Marianas Agupa naging buwagwe no mas no question o sino no apa paronzote susteniam zo sempre atababay telefon Alright, saludo para todos los amigos de Manikuguk, binigi programan Marianas Agupa, malang talang nos estes, esta YouTube saludo, oran alas 10, 3 minutos, umpisa, diyo talulo di Kiluus, Bravo Pharmacy and Wellness Center.
Ikumit siyang tinamod zan hinemlo. Bravo Pharmacy zan Central Maulik na hinemlo. Pronto zan listo na servisyon amod para hinemlo. Agang watugi 233 amod 233-2668. Email isomo prescription bravomeds@gmail.com. Mabababa ginin lunes esta Viernes. Ginin ioran alas 9 gigan, estay oran alas 6 ipopoy. Sabado, ginin ioran alas 9 gigan, estay oran alauna kinaluan talo. Agang wato 233 amo 233-2668.
Alright, mga man fatalo na para in refill yamon nizo Bravo Pharmacy and Wellness Center. Garapan o sinukag man dani nuevo na ramas giza dandan. Alright, time check at 9:58 bago na ugan Sabado. Destay adlaw mga Ilan si Isidoro está hababa mataon niya. Giigan, satan, no za hatantana gwi magtumagi na tantanwi itsan za talo ni na patutu jamzo ginin Joten markets and department stores iklema shop local shop Joten mga malifaninaw.
Today's weather is brought to you by Joten Markets and Department Store. Shop local, shop Joten. Iklema pagunahani nina patutuzihan ginin Midtown Joten zan Departamento Tendasihan. Shop local, shop Joten.
All right, mga malifaninaw panilos Midtown Joten Markets and Department Stores, shop local shop Joten. Gahunggan magait iklema. Está baba mataon niya pago. Imanglo ginin katan lutsan at 25 miles per hour, 60% chance of rain gitaluani mga malefa. Lagnos Capiton Mizo. Tingwa fanay Capiton. Pazzo Mizo, mga man malefa. So nigi talo mapatutalo mo ginaw ginin Joten Markets and Department Stores. All right. Malak datapan sige mo na gini. Wasya asunto medyo tananangay bisitata. Pwede umalom. Dr. Representative Tina Sablan. Umuwiza kandidato para gobyerno gi partidan Democratic Party. Ala natalang no sa estino giora na las 10 gaya trivia in transit o sino gaya luta pa ako sa kumu maulig i-connection humalom gizotan no virtual. Alright, mala dapat sulisti. Buenas.
Good morning, Glenn.
Morning.
Sige, fishing to.
Oh, buenas.
Taga sina maliglas di tanota gini sa bula luki Senate no. Wa ma-attention no, hindi na tagini si Senator Pulse como mami mi Democrat. Taga na-atten ni Democrat. Republiko Glenn, iti na I have to put Democrat back to work. Glenn, raga tanay chance i-dota na governor ni po halong si Kina. Jadi ka chumdalik din ang governor. Dahil utura pa ako na oratagkas si Glenn, si Zeus Masi.
Okay, si Zeus Masi din, no?
Malo ni Jota, para governor, new governor, tabi halik ka, kinasablan, nalunzo, dari kwentos.
Okay, alright, si Zeus Masi. Phil, alright, mala, datafan, pasigi muna state, sumukan iprogramata, pues giora na las 10:20 pa ako, malum sa si Bennett, Ambrose Bennett, Langnos Loki is on a report winning, if you know English. No, unggan gituton niya sa programata pururat sa moro lo, waha Loki siya manautaw-ta man malago po mas makumprendi hapa siya manhuhuzong winning, pus di na tanaya di tempo. That speaker di Loki ginin sino English ko na ba na importante Loki ano para todo dusit gini especialmente do siya na pamaguon igual Loki interest niya man ikaw gini. All right, okay. Good morning para si Ping Gwenaugi Island Guaham, okay. Si Eugene Tenorio Bloque para Hago. Okay, other states si Luta gini no Alfonso Diaz, half a day, Loque, ginin Palau. All right. We are doing the same show here in Palau. Liling niya si Alfonso Diaz. All right, pues gua Loque programan niya. No, ginin ihila na niya Loque, maniluta no ginin Palau. All right. Good job, no Alfonso. Okay, keep doing practice your cultural language heritage, okay? Okay, pues mala datapan sige mo nagbinitsumukan taloy programa ta. No mentas tananangga ibisitota. Wala data baba pa ni telefon pa ako datali ko ha interes i halumi publiko. 670-287-4536. Okay, no nagasang wabini man text magi. Alright, celebration Miss Chamorro, giniluchi luta si Liana. Alright, maunesti na linya gini. Karitang Waka. Alright, pues okay, gaya gano si Sebio. Para todos na grupo na manggagi gano gi Chamorro food. Ida susupi gano Lolo Katan. Iti Lolo Katan isti. Ini kagman no. Katan Uda. Pananino na lugar magang. Manggagi gano i-grupo si Eusebio. Dan ikaritang Waka. Alright. Si Luz Mose. Pulot ako mo watin poko by mapusti programa by stop by gano. Uskulo para todo do samjo gano. Liana. Dan i-grupo Eusebio. Alright, mana ada tertulis ni. Bagaimana para unzot tialo mi non mo por favor. Okay, consigue mo na. Landline. Buenas. Gagawin Aires na consigue mo na. Alright, pues sa talon di ay 234-5929 landline. O sino 287-4536. So, mga malefo natin tayo 670. Okay? Okay, mala data tulis di landline in mo por favor.
Good morning, Glenn.
Good morning, Lope. Consigue mo na.
Malik sa estasyon mo o nagwahaji para ipubliko, Marianas.
Okay. Jesus Mose.
Jesus Masi, yan na oportunidad i-unite sa taw Marianas para magpublika ang pasyanintim niya. Jaho na baisangan kita gwini. Wahu si Juan Regis. Malaguro finenena pabay na tungo kita todo ni publikon Marianas na imas importante para takumpendi i-respeto. Respeto ki kada masya hapan na partida o mano na partida ni gay. Ubaha respeto ini eno nistinya mumaulik ikinalamtin inilala iya tapat totoy muna. Isinyat man maulikan sigit manasangan. Isinyat man maulikan tada kinimprendi. Mana para politika do matuki chitu tupusi i-culture na lifestyle. Di Chamorro, basta man manyuli 10 ginin otro talo o ginin otro na nasyon lugar. May na tatapanaado regla ihapad jumudulang ikinalamtin nilalakta. Basta nazan nino siya politikang kutsino. May na tatapan malago sa ningay no fakpo. Tatsuki dupasi apa kumbeni sa maninatmit ni different klasin tauto. I differentes klasin tauto muna ba diferensya inilala publiko. Ini kita perlu priority. Talaga hululu na basta nazi argumento. Jo masabay defecto. Inawa pabisangan pulu jata ungu ke pemalu siya. Kabula siya necesidad jadi bidita ta honra iji siya ikinalantin manantigo na manangkota lupino mugwelu. Igwelota ni tatutsuli iminikota. Igwelota pumanono itsala na itotro na nasyon tau-tau. Maila tata na sitpi ikutrata. Ininggeta gininimanan panangko na manyanata. Inawa Glenn, malaguzo para bisangan pauna na sabalo si Diyos masipod yun nagwaa ino na estasyon di para umaungo kada importante na presiso sa mga kasasawit ista ano ka ilingwahi di mana sisipin sa bulat di kumumprendi hapa tutuon Marianas defekto niki defekto mangula ginutano gululo niya siya man mapanyago in 1970 na edad an mapanyago in 1960 unsyenti tinatsagan Marianas
Está.
no
Está, si Diyos Mose. Bonito na sinente sa undalang no suzong lope. Haps. Umistuktod ba hinasomo sa sinente mo si Diyos Mose. Sa stigesti, ito niya no purpose lope ipogramata. Sa apa dyan no mala that okay, mala that sudeste iprograman Marianas Agupa. Buenas. Buenas,
Glenn. Buenos días, Papa Marianas.
all right, okay. Inon mo, por favor.
Okay.
Okay, good sige mo.
Sulitin na oportunidad na itabi wislay doktor nis si Davidin na Sablan Rizana como gaigi presidential dandan. Wek nu like Glenn i opinion ne. Digital to bomb dan si former Senator Singh ne.
Okay.
Body dos spontannya dinanti. You know, already asalkan si Senator pwede si minority leader ne. Iposangan na fundamental na debe hasta na gaigi galong komite. Dan nigi siya na klasin defekto ne muna bururukay sa nilo dan isang papa. Di mana afaksa kumaleleng niya impeachment dan impeachable offense. Sagi todi do sa nilo dan isang papa different na scenario mana sisitbi. At sige na gitutun di magay umamenda right away in Constitution so mana alo ni Chief Justice para manage so guide is the impeachment sa pura opinion ke legislatura matatiti lai lugar iti mana paksa ini gina pulong kayo
Alright, Ray.
Hanggang dyan labi pa po sa matsuli para mapulti sa pumadefend the Constitution. Kwa fundamental niya din naman maaksa ka na niya. Pues este na Chief Justice para
Okay, stand by.
O guide para umanasiguro na matatitisi din natin.
Yeah, you couldn't get on the line? I mean, on virtual?
It's a lot niya.
Yeah, hold on.
So, Glenn,
Okay, está si Diyos Mose, Ray. Okay, thank you, Ray. We got Representative Tina Sablan, our candidate for governor under the Democratic Party banner. Buenas, Representative Tina Sablan.
Buenos dias, Glenn, and
Buenas.
everybody tuning in. I also just wanted to let everybody know that I'm actually here on Rhoda with my running mate, Layla Fleming Sattler.
Buenas,
She's
buenas.
on the line with us too.
All right. Anyway, I send you the link. I don't know, did you get it so we can see your
I
face?
did, but I'm sorry, we're actually out in the field right now.
Oh,
We're
okay.
doing some house-to-house visits, and we just finished up with one visit, and we're not going to be able to join online, and that's why I called.
Okay. All right. Okay. So anyway, the people are excited, waiting to see you on the streaming. But anyway, since you're doing house to house, where are you now? Are you in Sinapalo or?
Yes, we are in Sinapalo right now. And we are excited to do a future live video interview with you, hopefully later in April.
Yes,
Whenever that works with Marianas.
Yeah, we're gonna, of course, and we're gonna invite you and the other candidates for governor, and we're gonna get our people to see, from our perspective here, what do you call this? Especially those who are speaking vernacular language, right? Are a little bit older population, but that's not to say that many of our younger people doesn't understand Chamorro, because they do understand. It's just that the high school grade levels, maybe we need to have more programs in our vernacular. But anyway, the reason why is because we understand that you were in DC, and people are excited to know what's any updates from DC. How are people taking your candidacy?
Oh yes, I did kind of a whirlwind tour in the mainland. We started in DC, so just for everybody's information, I'm the national committee woman for the Democratic Party in the Northern Marianas, and the Democratic National Committee was having its winter meeting in DC. It was the first in-person meeting since the pandemic, and I went along with our then chairwoman Lola Hicks and my fellow committee man, Mr. Michael White. And so we met with Democrats from all around the country, and they were very excited. Everyone was really excited to hear about the gubernatorial campaign and how historic it is, and what our plans are for the CNMI. And so we got a lot of support, and we were able to meet with other Pacific Islanders who are in the party and members of the Western Caucus, and so I'm really glad that we were able to make those relationships. We also had a little fundraiser in DC with former CNMI residents who just wanted to show their support, and then after the DC meeting, I went to the Houston area, to meet again with our people who are living in that area. Quite a few retirees and students and military service members who are from the CNMI but currently located there. And then after that, we went on to the Bay Area, and again met with people from California, or from the CNMI who are living in California. And I'd say that I was able to have very very meaningful conversations with people there, listen to their concerns. A lot of, even though some people have been gone for a long time, but they really have this longing to come back home, and they've been following the news. They're very interested in seeing, how they can support the campaign, but also, what it would take to bring our people home, because they do want to contribute as well.
Oh, so in a nutshell, are there planning to come back to the Commonwealth and work here? What is their major concern of leaving the islands?
Well, people leave for many reasons, as a lot of us know and understand. There were some people who left for military service, for example, or for educational or job opportunities. Quite a few people said that their biggest number one concern, which again I think all of us who live in the CNMI, Saipan-Sinian and Rhoda can understand, is healthcare. Like I said, I met with some retirees who, they for them the healthcare and actually caregivers also, so children of retirees whose number one concern was healthcare, and so we talked about that also, how we can make more that people can get most of the care that they need in the island where we live. That was the most important thing that came up again and again with people.
What about jobs? Is that one of the mix of why they left the island, of job opportunities?
Oh yes, with some of the younger, working families that I met with and I had a chance to talk with, that jobs, economic opportunities, just a chance to make a decent living and support their families, put food on the table. That was also a big concern. I think people kind of recognize that maybe they might. So I heard this as well. Maybe they'll make less money if they come back to the island, but there's also a quality of life that they miss, and that people who have made the journey back home, maybe they're making less money, but they also have more time to connect with family and enjoy the beach, and enjoy life in the islands, right? And a lot of the folks that I talk to, these states I visit, express that, So yes, jobs was definitely a big thing. And we actually talked also about opportunities that to create programs that would more directly recruit and place local people in jobs back home. There's some really innovative things happening in the States. I had a chance to meet with a recruiter from CNMI who had helped create tens of thousands of jobs in California, placing people, U.S. workers, placing them in jobs in the private sector. And so we talked about how we might be able to replicate something like that in the Marianas. There's definitely the funding for it and definitely the need. We have one of the highest unemployment rates in the country, really. And if you look at what's happening elsewhere in the States, the job market is really heating up. And I think we need to do more to create these opportunities and connect our people with these opportunities in the Marianas.
Okay, that's great. Did they mention the primary reason of leaving the island? Is it the political nature here, the environment? Is that one of the reasons, or what? Can you explain that?
Like I said, people leave for different reasons. And when I asked, what would it take? What kind of change would you want to see if you were to come home, right? Changes that would help to bring you home. One of the responses that I heard multiple times was they wanted to see a change in the culture of government. They said, we don't like this who you know, not what you know system. They've been following the news. They've been watching the JGO hearings. They don't like the corruption and it's how blatant it's been in the last, really 6 years of the administration. And they're disappointed. And so we talked a lot about that, and how our people really deserve better. And that is one thing that Leila and I stand for is good governance. And we are committed to that. We are committed to fair and honest government. We are committed to ending this culture of fear and political retaliation. And we want to assure people who are working now in government and are doing their jobs and just want to do the right thing, that we will not be the administration that fires all these people because of who they voted for. That will not matter. What matters is are the services being provided, are people doing their jobs, and nobody should ever be afraid of their government.
Okay, that's awesome. 7 months away to election, a little bit more than 7 months. If you were elected governor, what is the first order of business? Governor Sablan.
Yeah, that's a great question. The first order of business really is to get the lay of the land in terms of our finances. That is one thing that Leila and I are both really concerned about. We have ended every year for the last 6 years in a deficit, Glenn, and fiscal responsibility is one of our highest priorities, our highest values in the new administration. We have so much federal money coming in, and we have to make sure that we do not squander the opportunities that these funds bring with them. And we want to make sure that they're being allocated to the purposes that they are intended for, and make sure that we're making investments in healthcare, in infrastructure, in our schools, and really building for the future and for our economic recovery. And there's a lot to be said too for the local funds that are coming in, and whether these funds are being spent appropriately and how they're being accounted for. And so really it's just that would be the first order of business is what are the resources, what are the needs, and where the shortfall is going to be, because we need to be prepared also for when these funds run out, and make sure that we're building, for a future that is fiscally responsible and financially stable, and gives everybody an opportunity to lift themselves up economically.
Okay. What is your message to those who have not made up their mind in terms of, their choice for governor and lieutenant governor?
Our message is please give us the opportunity to meet with you and answer your questions. Zayla and I welcome any questions about the campaign, about our records, about our plans going forward. We would welcome any opportunities to meet with people, either in their homes or, in groups. There's a lot of work to do. We're going to be doing a lot of outreach between now and November. And we know also that there are some really great ideas out there for how we can build a better Commonwealth that all our people can be proud of. And so we're listening. We're reaching out, we're talking with people, and working really hard to get our message out. And Zayla, did you want to add to that?
Well, I just, to be honest, all the things as you're saying them, I'm like, yeah, that's right. You covered almost everything that's why I think we're such a good pair, is that we really truly have the same values and beliefs in how our government should serve our people, and making sure that, the playing ground is equal and everyone has the same opportunities wherever they live.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I think this month, or is celebration for International Women's Day. Do you see yourself as two strong women charting this new direction for the people of the Commonwealth, and do you see that as plus in this time of uncertainty?
Well, yes, it's definitely exciting and historic, and I've been just so grateful by the amount of love and support that we've been getting from women and men, girls and boys. It's been I think it's exciting for a lot of people, and it's definitely energized the whole race, I would say, to have two women running for the top seats in government for the first time in my history. And really, I think my impression, especially after the DNC meeting, is that we are the first two women running for governor and lieutenant governor in all of the states and territories. I think this is really historic for the nation, and I also think that there's a lot to be proud of for that. CNMI can really I guess set the stage for more women in leadership positions in Pacific and in our country.
All right. Okay. One more question, and I ask you for just a few minutes because you're on your campaign trail, participating in the mayoral candidate, Mr. Masga in Rhoda, right?
That's right. He's making his official announcement tonight.
All right. So the last question is that the timing of Chairperson Nola Hicks leaving the party, is that something that is of concern to the group? It's only 7 months away.
Yeah. Thank you for asking that, because I think that there has been some misconception. She's not leaving the party. She has been acting as interim chair of the Democratic Party for over a year now. As many people are aware, Nola's family actually relocated to Guam, and we asked her to stay on to assist with the transition, because anybody who knows Nola knows just how much energy and creativity and she's a force to be reckoned with, and big shoes to fill, and finding her replacement. And so I'm very grateful that she stayed on as long as she did. And we've actually been planning this transition for a while. She did help to recruit her successor, Mr. Jonathan Cabrera, who is, just a wonderful person, great leader, an educator himself, and a longtime Democrat. And so we're really pleased that and grateful that he accepted the position. And then we also have a couple of new officers who are coming in, our Vice Chair, Luella Marciano, and then our Secretary, Malia Johnson, and our Treasurer, Shauna Delisho. So we have a general membership meeting coming up for the party, and right now all of those individuals are serving as interim officers. But I would hope that those positions would become permanent at the next general membership meeting.
Okay, so that ends our segment here with our candidate for governor, and enjoy your stay in Rhoda. And we're gonna set another broadcast here for you and Leila, and of course the other candidates for governor. So
yes, that sounds like an excellent plan, Glenn. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and we'll look forward to that next time.
All right, so like the people of Rhoda, they say Rota is romantic. Rota is delicious.
It is all of those things. It is beautiful. It is fun.
Yeah. All right, don't forget that. That's from former Lieutenant Governor Benjamin T. Maglonia, who coined that phrase.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, and we'll get in touch.
Okay, thank you so much, Glenn.
Thank you, Leila. All right. Mala, apa ni lo sa estano no pudi mauluma gini ilota no candidate for governor lo sempia tafana tanafan hujung talo dan lokwe no okay mala da tatsuliasti no okay pudi stay uran no tanalong si Ambrose na sadika. Go ahead. Oh, okay. Esta si Jus Mosi. All right, let's get to our regular programming with Ambrose Bennett, and a little bit of the English version of Marianas Agupa on the issue of government, economy, and politics, right? Is that? Oh, education. All right, Ambrose. Okay, go ahead, Ambrose. Thank you for joining us again.
All right, buenas, and good morning to everybody. I want to thank the Marianas Agupa show, first of all, for really having an English version, because a lot of people don't speak Chamorro or Carolinian. And it's no disrespect intended, but we think we try to include everybody that votes, especially with this English version. So I thank you, Glenn, and the show for this version, for this segment. Today, it is the economy. And there's no education. I changed it to retirees and impeachment. As for the economy, I will start off talking about the cannabis industry, because the cannabis director and the commissioners, they were right about giving the industry a chance to grow. As the growth of the industry actually depends upon the growth of tourism and not so much on local people. I raised a question to the Senate when I presented them with the first draft of the marijuana bill. And I asked them, what will change in the villages once marijuana is legal? And I got a lot of answers. All of them implied some kind of change. But the reality is that nothing actually changed in the villages. The people in the villages who were using marijuana already had their means for getting it. And that didn't change. As only a small number of new marijuana users will purchase theirs from the dispensaries. Our cannabis industry is heavily dependent upon tourism industry, as the proper name for the industry is really cannabis tourism industry. I was also glad to see the chief prosecutor, Mr. Hines, who understands that legalizing marijuana was not about making people criminals, but giving people the freedom to use marijuana while holding them accountable. But they do need to drop the cost for some of the fees, especially for that applies to the local people usage 54% of the people are still at the poverty level, and they're not going to be able to pay us $75 a year to grow their marijuana. So we're kind of setting them up for failure. In the original draft, I told them that they should just make it legal like we did in Oregon, and then apply the statutes or policies to how you would use it as a private citizen. But my real concern about the industry was that I had to really push to get the hemp industry put in the law. They weren't even considering it. And now no one is doing anything to try and get the hemp industry started. Hemp industry is not only about growing, but manufacturing and exporting. That is the end result, which is what has the potential to equal and even surpass the revenues generated by the by the garment industry. I'm sorry. But the government is not trying to take advantage of the Made in USA label tags that made the garment industry so successful in exporting to the mainland. There's a plethora of products and parts that can be made from hemp, which is better than glass, fiberglass, plastic, and even some metals for the use of these parts. But we're not pushing this industry to be developed, and it has more potential than the garment industry, really.
Okay, I just have to ask you this. In the beginning, didn't you mention that if we have the marijuana law passed, we're going to make millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars? And here we are. We don't have that millions. Is that what you're saying about the hemp industry? Is that what
the tourism died? The government took us in a different direction with China, and the tourism industry died. Look at our tourism industry. The cannabis, that's why I said the industry is properly named the cannabis tourism industry. We're not going to make millions off of local people buying marijuana. I explained that, and I even explained that we were going to make more money with the hemp industry. That is what I was talking about, the millions and millions of dollars was hemp, not necessarily cannabis tourism. Cannabis tourism is driven by the tourists, and the numbers speak for themselves. I just hope that these dispensaries and the people that are in the industry can survive until we get the tourist numbers back up. And that's why I'm still complaining about the hemp industry, which I really pushed and explained to them that it had the most potential, because we're talking about manufacturing jobs. We're talking about exporting. We import everything we get just about. The key to really bringing money into the CNMI is exporting. And hemp offers our first opportunity since the garment industry to start exporting again. But we had 2 or 3 years of downtime to get that industry set up and started during this pandemic. And they just sit around and twiddle their thumbs and didn't do anything about the industry. And it's still just sitting on paper. And I think that's the biggest travesty about that whole marijuana bill.
Okay. All right. Let's get one caller in.
Okay.
Before you get to your next segment. Okay. Reduce your background music, your background radio, please. Okay. Any question to Ambrose?
Again, this is Bernard.
Okay. Go ahead.
Like I was listening regarding about the cannabis, I don't know about that, but if Mr. Bennett is a smoker of marijuana or not.
What is your question again?
From him, does he smoke marijuana or not?
Did you hear that Ambrose?
I heard his question, but that's my personal business.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. Go ahead, Ambrose. Your next segment.
Okay. I would like to talk about the retirees and the fiasco over the retirees bonus is still continuing. We still don't have our Christmas bonus. But it's not going to happen really until all retirees start pointing the finger at the right person, which is the governor. This is about full reprogramming authority over our money and nothing else. Retirees need to think about the fact that we never had this problem before. And the reason we're having this problem is because there's over $300 million still on the table that the governor wants full reprogramming authority over. To give him $300 million and he's not going to tell us what he's going to do with it. The House is doing their due diligence to hold the bill until the Senate decides that they will not let that be part of the bill. The only reprogramming authority he needs is for the money to pay the retirees. He doesn't need reprogramming authority over all of the stimulus money. That's why we have a legislature. That's why the legislature, by constitution, sets a budget for our money. I'm hoping that they will make a law in the future that anytime we get over $25 or $50 million from the feds, that it must be budgeted by the legislature so that this will never, ever happen again. That is too much money. Our annual budget is a little over 100 million. Now, what is he going to do that it is so important that he has to have reprogramming authority over 300 more million plus the budget? It's ridiculous. And retirees and the people in the public need to understand that this is not the problem of the House. The problem is the governor was playing politics from day one by sending that bill to the Senate because he knew, first of all, that all funding bills must go through the House, which is why the House called it back doing their job. He was trying to sneak this past the House, put the burden on the House to give him reprogramming authority. But the House members, they're intelligent people. They can read and they see what's happening. So I hope that in the future, I would like to say that retirees, NMDs need to organize with a single leader who can speak for these groups, which is really real political, institutional power that could make the government and the governor do what they want. It is really time for organizational reforms for retirees, NMDs, and even teachers, as we are one of the last places in America where there is no collective bargaining representation, which is the main purpose why these groups are constantly being poly-tricked around. If PSS is not getting jerked around, it's the retirees getting jerked around. NMDs haven't had a chance to get jerked around because the only money they ever got, they have never gotten anything from MPLT. And they should be outraged that the governor could borrow $15 million and there are no subsidies for NMD students to attend college. There are no subsidies to help NMDs open up businesses. There are no subsidies to help low-income NMDs with the extra money that they have. They have over $100 million. And they don't even want to give the interest that has been earned on that money to the people who they work for. I would like to see the NMDs get something from that money.
All right. Listen, I just got a info here from our representative, Corina Magofnia.
Okay.
She already pre-filed a bill that would address that concern. I guess
All
that's
right.
the hemp industry, because I know for a fact that when it was like maybe a couple of years ago when we're looking into they're still thinking about passing the marijuana bill, and the hemp industry really comes to mind because, you know, we can make ropes, the strongest ropes from hemp. I don't know if we do have the availability of arable lands to do that, though. Do you think we have that arable lands to?
We have more than enough land to do that. We have unpopulated islands that can be nothing but hemp farm. They grow themselves.
Okay.
You know, they don't need a lot of care and maintenance. They just have to plant them during the right growing time, and they'll pretty much take care of themselves. The thing about the hemp industry is that there's a plethora. There are thousands of things that hemp can be used to make with. I give you one example. When Henry Ford created the Model T, he wanted to use hemp to make the fenders and some of the other parts. He took one of those, he took a 5-pound sledgehammer, he hit the hemp fender with it. The only thing that happened to the hemp fender was it shook. It didn't even crack the paint because of the flexibility of the fender.
Okay.
But he couldn't use it because it was illegal.
Okay, let me get caller in. Reduce your radio in the background, please, before I get you on, and your name. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Ambrose.
Good morning.
Going back to the cannabis industry, it's a really complicated industry to really go about generating revenue because the Fed is against the cannabis. So therefore, there won't be any transaction of exporting or international exchange. The problem that we have with this commercial industry is that we allow recreational industry. So what person in the CNMI will purchase marijuana from all these cannabis stores? They would rather grow their own. So don't count the local industry because it's already a done deal. So if we're really going to talk about tourism industry, have we done a survey to really look at the data of how many tourists that are coming to the cinema are interested to smoke cannabis? So the data is not there. So the numbers that we're predicting or projecting to generate is unrealistic. So until such time that they do survey locally and internationally for tourism, then we can have a realistic projections on how much revenue we can generate. But as far as I'm concerned right now, it's unrealistic.
Okay, thanks, Ray. All right, very good argument.
Okay, he raises a good question that it being unrealistic. That's what I said earlier, is that it's a cannabis tourism industry. It's not a cannabis industry for local people to purchase. We're not like Oregon, where they have millions of people, Colorado and all the other states that have millions and millions of people who actually support their dispensaries. Our dispensaries are going to depend totally 90% on tourism. The problem is the governor hasn't addressed the big picture of tourism. I have been pushing almost 20 years for the CNMI to become a family destination so that we could be the pearl of the Pacific, where people from Micronesia will travel here. All people in Micronesia, throughout Micronesia, use marijuana. That is one group that would definitely come here to purchase. The other thing about it is Japan, Korea, China, they have strong laws against marijuana usage. So their tourism industry is not going to help as far as purchasing marijuana, because some of them will be tested and even face maybe charges when they return if they're tested positive. We also must expand our tourism industry to our fellow Americans and our fellow American investors. One of the things that I've been talking about is that there are hardly any American investors here. We continue to cater to foreign. And we're not trying to be American. And that's one of the reasons people are leaving here, which is what Ms. Sablon was addressing. People, when they joined the United States, they expected the CNMI to be more like America. But we have been slow in making that transition, because being like America means to grow and be big. And we haven't tried to grow and be big. We've been trying to stay small, but reap big benefits by using investors. That's not going to work. And they just showed it to us. We're going to have to do our due diligence, create local entrepreneurships. And that's why I'm complaining about NMD. The NMD is not getting any help. We're constantly, when I first arrived here in the CNMI, most of the stores and things were local. You can't find at your Morrow store anymore, hardly.
Okay. All right. Let me get over here. Any question to Ambrose?
Yes, good morning. Again,
Morning.
Mr. Bennett.
Morning.
Good morning. You're talking about the marijuana tourism industry.
Mm-hmm.
I really think it can work, Mr. Bennett.
Yeah.
Our Marianas Visitors Authority or Bureau should try and work out something more enticing to invite tourism to. Because if it's only cinema, if it's only inviting people to come and play casino, poker, or to smoke marijuana, it's not enough. Our local government and our Marianas Visitors Authority should come up with something more like bring in Disneyland or bring in a concert, something like AC/DC or Bob Marley or those big top names. Try and bring entertainment to the island other than casino and poker and then you get these people to travel. We're in the middle of nowhere here in the Pacific. Hawaii has they got plenty tourism.
Okay.
So what is our cinema?
Okay.
We have to be open-minded and be smart too. How do we bring in tourism? Because right now the only thing our government is bringing in is their base on is casino. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Have a good day.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. And he is very right about that. And one of the things that I like about Representative Sablon and Staffler is that they are listeners, like she said. Believe it or not, when the cannabis industry bill was passed, I went to the Cannabis Commission offering my help, and they refused my help. Later on, I tried to get them to sponsor the first 420 day and to use the Enos Park as the venue, because we built that park and nobody's ever used it for anything. It's just sitting there in Puerto Rico. And I would like to have seen that be the main place for marijuana events. 420 day, let me finish this. 420 day is one of the most popular days of the year for marijuana users. I promoted that we have a 420 day event, but they refuse to even listen.
Okay, let me get the last caller. Our time is limited.
Okay.
Go ahead, name please.
Good morning.
Morning.
First question that I probably might want to get an opinion from Ambrose. Ambrose, the question that I have is, by forming the cannabis industry or Cannabis Commission, how much is it costing the governor to run that commission? Is it balancing out as to how much they would generate? And this is where we cannot address our deficit in the cinema, because we continue to open industries or agencies that does not generate revenue. And it adds up with resources, with personnel, operation costs. I think we can't compare ourselves with national debt, because the local debt, the local jurisdiction is responsible to zero out deficit. So somebody has to be held accountable for the deficit, because if we don't address this, if the House of Representatives and the Senate does not address the deficit, we'll be in big trouble. Our GDP will be in big trouble. We need to address our deficit. That's the main concern that the legislature should address right now and today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. I actually did the numbers on it, and the director gets $75,000 alone per year. They only collected like $600 and some odd $1,000, and that doesn't cover enough to pay for the director and the commission, not including the extra expenses. So we're actually losing money on the cannabis tourism industry. One of the things I had tried to suggest was the temporary closure of a lot of these boards and commissions during the pandemic that were not generating any income, and they were just collecting salaries. And they could have been put on the poor thing and gotten paid, and we didn't have to keep paying them salaries, but the governor allowed these commissions and boards to continue even though they were pretty much non-functional. So we're losing money on the Cannabis Commission on the collections. We actually need to generate around $2 million a year just for us to collect enough taxes to break even.
All right. Okay, let me get this one will be the last caller. Go ahead. Name, please.
Hello.
Yes. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Good morning, Glenn.
Morning.
This is Patricia Guerrero.
Okay.
Mr. Ambrose, you spoke about the NMDs. I wanted to let you know that there's a Senate legislative initiative introduced by Senator Edith De Leon Guerrero with respect to proposing a constitutional amendment on Section 6 or Article 11, Section 6 of Article 11 with regards to the MPLT funds. So you might want to look into that. You might want to also, and the NMDs might want to also ask their gubernatorial team of Torres and Sablan, because Senator Vini Sablan is the floor leader, and that's still pending in his committee as in his official capacity as floor leader. It hasn't been assigned to any committee. So you probably, the NMDs might want to ask Senate President Jude Hofschneider and Senator Vini what's going on with Senate Legislative Initiative number 22-8. The second thing I'm calling with regards to the retirees, I'm more concerned about the $300 million deficit, cumulative deficit facing the Commonwealth, and with respect to the 75% for the retirees beginning next fiscal year, and the 25% more than the $1,000 bonus. So if the retirees really are concerned about their pension, they should start looking into and asking questions. Where are they going to get the 75% mandatory payments to the settlement agreement pursuant to the final settlement agreement, and how and where are they going to get the 25% remainder to make it 100% pursuant to the Constitution? If I were you, retirees, you need to start looking at that, because we may very well not have our pension by the next fiscal year, beginning fiscal year 2023. And that's a fact. We're $300 million deficit by this administration, by the Torres administration. Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, and she raises some very good concerns. It goes back to what I mentioned earlier. The retirees and NMDs need to be asking and trying to get to the bottom of it. But the problem is the retirees and NMDs are not organized. Who speaks for them?
Okay.
We're just a bunch of people, and that's why we're being played around. Retirees, NMDs, and even teachers need to be organized so that we will have a real voice that can speak for us. I will close with one thing about the impeachment trial. which is the Senate was clearly going, they were trying to rig the trial, but now it seems that they're trying to take a step back forward. But we all know that the Senate is still going to acquit the governor. So what they really doing now really is just a facade. We all know what's going to happen. And we should prepare really for Judgment Day, which is Election Day 2022. That's when we're going to be able to really fix the problem, people.
All right. Close our last Ambrose. Si Zeus Mossy Ambrose until
Right.
2 Saturdays
2
from
weeks.
2 weeks from
Yeah,
now.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right.
Ambrose with the English version of Marianas Agupa no show pag na sabalo si Zeus Mossy no magtiora para tapan adingo pinili na talo i-time check 10 o'clock pago.
Ikumitsyante amot zan hinemlo. I-Bravo Pharmacy zan Central Maulik na hinemlo. Pronto zan listo na servisyon amot para hinemlo. Agang watugi 233 amot 233-2668. Email isomoprescription iBravoMeds@gmail.com. Mabababa ginin Lunes esta Viernes. Ginin ioran alas 9 gigan, esta oran alas 6 ipupoy. Sabado, ginin ioran alas 9 gigan, esta oran alauna gitanuan talo. Agang watu 233 amo 233-2668.
All right. Bravo Pharmacy and Wellness Center para review amon mo garapan kagman o sino inuibo na ramas kay gidandan. Nga malifa, time check talo at 10 o'clock pag na Sabado. O siya man malifa talo mga man malifa as Joten Markets and Department Stores, Shop Joten, Shop Loco, Shop Joten mga malifa pag talo iklema. Esta hababa mataon niya pero may pi para utsan gitaluani 60% chance of precipitation. Imang 25 to 30 miles per hour ginin katan lutsan. Zeus Mossy talo para turudo samzo pag na Sabado. Mati ora na para tapan adingo pag na buniton ha ani. I programan Marianas Agupa talo si Zeus Mossy turudo samzo. No para todo samzo de man sauno nanelok yung donk lulu nagradecimiento. No timpulo kineng gasta para todos aso siya manggaygi go to tano mga malifa natin subscribe di Marianas Agupa YouTube wa siya programa into semana mamamayla na semana cultural show dan si Malaya Ramirez ginini Islan Aguham para u diskuti kinalamting Chamorro na manhano mo ginin iya para mo gi Marianas i-diferensyaw siya na sininti dan ikultura, itinalaika, dan todos ato siya si Malaya para o diskuti, mamamayla na Sabado i-cultural show, i-ora na alas 10. Di mapus, nugwa siya man sauno, man halong prize, para ito i-cultural show, di mapus, dan si Soledad Marie Castro, tibay lang nus pa ako sa titodo man mo na dyan, i-survey, mamamay lang na Sabado, gigin man ako ito, ginin yung opisina, belang nus siya manmanggana na tau-tau, ma-fill out i-survey form. Okay, pues kada cultural show, survey form. Nes niya sumono, loki, manggana, presyo, binigi programan Marianas Agupa. Talo sin si Zeus Mossy para turudo samzo. No ginin autoridad historia Marianas Agupa Mariana Iglesias si Zeus Mossy beno gi Isla Naguham Peter Santos iabugao si Zeus Mossy Peter sempre loki tatsagi mo na kihalum luta talo gi mamamayla na Sabado ginin opisina ni Kadi purigwat sa kinya loki si Guelo Tim no dagin listo dan está ready niya tanaholum talo tapi. Alright, gininis lang tinian talo si Zeus Mossy Senator Singh. Bueno papa tinian saludo para iat Kadi bueno papa honorable as Edwin O'Don ng opisina niya. Gurak si Zeus Mossy Loke Isidoro Cabrera Loque, Gwini, Poesía Historia, como guisa y cabezan y non kultura natibo. Alright, si Jesús masisit, Wahoo Siglan H. Manglore, nagwait sa nafamolik ng pas para todo do samzo. Ugwait sa hamzo, Dios, está otro sábado.